Hello and welcome to the Gavel. I am Terry Ikumi. Let's jump right into it now, beginning with the House of Representatives. Lawmakers in the lower chamber are asking the Central Bank of Nigeria to stabilize the naira and are investigating the usage of foreign currency in the country to make purchases. Also, the House of Representatives has passed through second reading a bill that will increase the retirement age of military officers to 65 years. Take a listen.
During Tuesday's plenary, the attention of members of the House of Representatives turned to the state of the economy, with special consideration on the value of the naira.
Is equivalent to...
Following a motion by Honorable Ismail Adabo, lawmakers debated the need for the Central Bank of Nigeria to address the impact of the failing naira on the Nigerian economy.
Recognize that Nigeria's foreign exchange inflows are lagging despite unification in June, with high demand for foreign currency and limited access to official markets, incentivizing black market purchases. The naira has lost a great percent of its value against the dollar, falling from $778.602 per dollar as of September 26, 2023, and nearly 1,000 or more per dollar now at the parallel market, making it the first time Nigeria has liberalized the foreign exchange market. Worried about inflation and the cost of living, depreciating naira makes imported goods more expensive, leading to higher inflation rates. This increased cost of living disproportionately affects the most vulnerable citizens as they struggle to afford basic necessities, which are now glaring across the country. Also worried about the reduction in investment as the value of the naira continues to lose value and depreciates against the dollar and other foreign currencies. Foreign investors may be deterred from investing in Nigeria, fearing potential currency losses, which is capable of stunting economic growth and hindering the creation of new job opportunities for unemployed Nigerian youth. Aware that a weaker and depreciating naira could increase Nigerians' external debt service, potentially reducing government spending on critical sectors like healthcare and education. Also aware that Central Bank of Nigeria frequently uses its foreign reserves to stabilize the naira, but this can deplete its reserves, making the country vulnerable to economic shocks.
Mr. Speaker, I think we need to urge the federal government to encourage agriculture in any way possible, because what is putting pressure on our currency today is that we are import dependent. Nigeria is depending so much on everything we import, everything into this country. And we need to encourage agriculture by all means. And for the central bank, like the last speaker said, today, if you want to travel out of this country, you are forced to pay in FX. You are forced to pay in dollars. And when you compare what we are paying here in Nigeria and what you pay from outside the country, it is unimaginable, Mr. Speaker. You find out that they charge us equivalent of about 3-point-something million naira here to buy an economic ticket to travel to for a 6-hour flight. But those coming from the UK, for instance, Mr. Speaker, pay far, far less when they are paying in pound sterling. So these are issues we must look at, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, BOS has even highlighted one of the issues I want to say. But then, quickly to the point, Mr. Speaker, is that let's invite even the CBN governor, Minister of Finance, as a house. We should be able to have a working document, a policy document that will be able to follow up, have oversight, that if this thing is not working, you have promised us this. It's very important for us as a house to know that what is really happening within the economy. Mr. Speaker, if it were in a developed country that you wake up the next day and the currency shifts a little bit, somebody will leave his job. But here, nothing is happening. Dollar will rise up tomorrow and everything continues like that. But it is our responsibility to hold those that are driving these policies, to hold them to account that, look, let's see your policy document in respect to the economy. Because if we continue like that, tomorrow the dollar will be 1,500 and we'll just be smiling. Boa Cement woke up and reduced cement to 3,500. And Dangote is talking of, so which means something is wrong and the economy situation is man-made.
Other factors that I want to add as additional prayer to the motion. One, urge the federal government to make a fundamental shift on governance approach that focuses on bloated cabinet structures, wasteful expenditure as a result of undeserved consumption, oil theft, corruption, and forex speculations.
The House further mandated its committees on banking regulations, national security and intelligence to interface with the Central Bank of Nigeria with the purpose of initiating compliance strategies as well as investigate the use of US dollars and other foreign currencies as legal tender for domestic transactions in Nigeria.
And disaster preparedness.
Meanwhile, on Thursday, the House passed through second reading a consolidated bill to address the appointments of the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs, as well as increase the retirement age of military officers.
The second bill seeks to make it compulsory that retired army officers that are retired before their ages of mandatory retirement, in order to maintain institutional knowledge and to fully harness the investments that have been made into these military officers, that they become more of consultants and train the younger generations or younger crop of officers that are coming up behind them. It equally aims to increase the retirement age for army officers, considering the amount of investment made into them, to 65 years, and of course 40 to 65 years and 40 years having been in the service.
Next, following the consideration of a motion by the minority leader and 10 others, the House mandated its relevant committees to invite the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Chairman, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, to brief them on the preventive measures taken to protect Nigerians and air travelers to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, the motion is on the need to investigate alleged victimization and maltreatment of Nigerians in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, the House is worried that if early intervention and diplomatic measures are not taken by the Nigerian government to check the incessant attacks on Nigerians in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and air travelers will be at risk. And we urge the House to mandate the Committee on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs to invite the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman Nigerian Diaspora Commission to brief them on preventive measures taken to protect Nigerians and air travelers to Addis Ababa, and report back to the House within 3 weeks for further legislative action.
Meanwhile, in the spirit of the commemoration of the 2023 International Day of the Girl Child, which is observed on the 11th of September every year, lawmakers drew attention to the dangers of drug and alcohol abuse among adolescent girls.
The House is worried about the high number of out-of-school girls that engage in drugs and other vices. Throughout history, girls have been systematically held back and undervalued in society. The House is informed that investment in critical steps, such as the girls' rights under the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, and the Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, will help to fast-track the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. The House is informed that the current trend in Nigeria reveals that young girls who are sexually abused by their parents and guardians return back home to the same house where they were abused after police intervention. The House resolves, my prayer, sir, that we should urge the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and National Orientation Agency and other stakeholders to initiate ways of educating and sensitizing girls on the dangers of drug and alcohol abuse in commemoration of the 2023 International Day of the Girl Child in Nigeria going forward.
In the meantime, the House is urging the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the health sector and allocate significant votes to it in the 2024 budget estimates.
The House resolves to urge the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the health sector and allocate significant votes to it in the 2024 budget estimates. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Health to encourage states to resuscitate the comatose primary health care program at the grassroots level and provide qualitative and affordable Medicare for the masses. Further urge the Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with state ministries, local government, and other stakeholders, to establish a task force to eradicate medical malpractice, particularly in the rural areas, and furnish the Committee on Healthcare Services with the summary report in evaluating the standard of primary healthcare centers from 2016 to 2022.
The lower chamber also urges the Ministry of Health to encourage states to resuscitate the comatose primary healthcare program at the grassroots level and provide qualitative and affordable healthcare. Next,
the House notes the need to resolve top priority judgments incurred by the ministries, departments, agencies of government through issuance of promissory notes in the sum of $556 million, 584.31 cents. Also, in the sum of 398 pounds, 526.17 shillings, and in the sum of 226,281,801,881 naira 0.64 kobo. Concerned that the judgment debt are top priority obligations that require prompt resolution to ensure financial stability and reputation of government. The House resolves as follows. Acknowledge the existence of the magnitude of judgment debt incurred by the ministries, departments, and agents of government. Recognize the urgency in addressing the judgment debt to safeguard the financial stability of the government. Authorize the issuance of a promissory note to settle judgment debts. Mandates the Committee on AIDS, Loans, and Debt Management to oversee the process of issuance of promissory notes and report back for further legislative action.
Welcome back now to the Senate, which plans to invite the service chiefs as it looks into the incessant crude oil theft in the Niger Delta. This resolution was reached following a motion moved by Senator Ned Nwoko, who says that from March till date this year, Nigeria lost 65.7 million barrels of crude oil due to theft. Senator Nwoko is concerned that this has prevailed majorly because of a connivance between security agencies and non-state actors. Meanwhile, the only senator on the platform of the Young Progressives Congress, Senator Ifeanyi Uba, representing Anambra South Senatorial District, has defected from the Young Progressives Party to the All Progressives Congress. Take a listen to these and more from the Senate.
The rate of crude oil thefts in Nigeria formed a major part of the discussions in the Senate on the first legislative day of the week. The senator representing Delta North moved a motion on the urgent need to investigate the incessant crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta region and its actors.
Data which have been reported over the years
even till date, have shown that oil bunkering has brought Nigeria into serious socio-economic crisis, and this remains an intractable challenge to the Nigerian oil-dependent economy.
Lawmakers, especially those from the region, attributed the illegality to a collaboration between security agencies and non-state actors.
What is actually even happening in Ogoni land today, that the federal government, with the IOCs, are spending billions of dollars for cleanup. It's just as a result of the oil theft and the negligence by most of these vandals within the area. Mr. President, our security agents, their lack of collaboration in the area is one of the major causes of this problem. The civil defense, they are doing theirs. The Navy will be doing their own. The Nigerian Army will be doing their own.
We set up a committee. We have this other committee. Still, as we are talking now, Mr. President, there's a special committee in the House of Rep on the same issue, bunkering. At the end of the day, nothing happened. Until the day we wake up and do what is called serious punishment, take a decision that this is our country, no matter who is involved. The moment you take that decision, people will sit up.
The President of the Senate asks a joint committee of the Senate to summon the service chiefs on the issue and report back within 6 weeks. Meanwhile, the Senate has embarked on an amendment of the National Social Investment Program Agency Act 2023 to move the agency from the purview of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to the Presidency.
This amendment is as a result of the commitment of the renewed hope mantra President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in ensuring that social investment programs are standard, transparent, effective, and accountable structure of delivery, adequate coordination and synergy amongst key government agencies, as well as fulfillment of Section 17(3) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which provides that the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring that all citizens, without discrimination.
During Tuesday's plenary, some senators expressed displeasure over the disregard of procedures by the Senate President, especially regarding approvals and passage of bills.
Since we started this Senate, you said it's a corrective Senate. We have been ambushed all the time that bills are very sensitive bills are brought and are expected to be passed with the speed of light, which is not good for this country. Every senator here is supposed to be adequately informed. He does his research, he comes to the floor and makes a positive contribution. But in a situation where even money bills are brought and we are expected to pass it within 2 hours, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't go well for this country.
There are few instances, like the amendment of the Constitution, and some parts requires 2/3. That means the senators, before voting, will be informed that they will vote on a certain matter and they need to be present so that the 2/3 will be achieved. But any decision that comes up like this during the sitting of the Senate, the 2/3 means those that are here.
I don't think we will come here to pass a bill that will not be in the interest of the Nigeria. So your point of order is noted.
Now, this week on Constituency Focus, we'll speak to Senator Francis Fadaunsi, representing Osun East Senatorial District, as he highlights the needs of his constituents and his plans for them.
In the last 4 years, which we have not even finished, just last week, we still did about 2 or 3 empowerment, which no senator is even doing again. But nowadays, it should go beyond it. The power generation is poor now. The distribution is almost at 0. If the situation of power improves, then we want small scale industries. We have to go further. Enough of distributing 5,000 naira, which could not bring any development. If the state, like what Osun is doing now, Osun is now doing some major roads to connect the farmers. Then our own would like to do feeder roads in conjunction with the local government. The local government now is working, at least in Osun. That's my area. My area is Osun East. That's Ife, Ibisa, senatorial district. Our problem now is the major road, that the federal road that passed through Osun to Ekiti, Ondo, and Kwara. So if those major roads could be done by the federal government, then we'll be okay. The remaining roads that we attract the farmers to come from the villages to town, that is our own problem, which is major. So we'll be able to cooperate with the state and federal, because we have been doing it, including bridges. Then we are going seriously to agric this year. God so kind. The two ministers in agric are all agric experts, and they are from Senate. So we have to go to meet, and we have met them to advance our own cause. Because the more we produce food, the less you see villagers coming to town to disturb peace. Then, if there is power, we have to connect them to do a lot of more of artisan work, which we are trying to do now. We have provided enough transformers, which at least there's no local government that got less than between 5 to 10 out of 11 local governments. We are still doing it. Then the rural electrification is the problem, which is major, which we have to start begging the federal government. And I know under President Tinubu, who is someone from rural area too, we know how to assist us. And by the grace of God, before we finish this, you will see that the economy will improve. Without the economy of the rural area improving, there's nothing the cities can do.
And that's all the time of the Gavel this week. Thanks very much for your time as well. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.